everybody. This is morning coffee.
It's time to pour it, stir it up, and serve it up. This is the Morning Coffee Podcast Show, your unofficial wake-up call. Here to help you live your best life and revolutionize your relationships, faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day the right way with Morning Coffee. Here's your host, Tanisha R. Atkins.
Good morning. You are tuned in to the Morning Coffee Live Show. I'm Tanisha R. Atkins. I'm the host. I want to say good morning to you again. I hope and pray that you had a great Labor Day. I trust that you took some time to just relax. You know, it's Labor Day. That's one of the many vacations and holidays that we get off. So I hope that you definitely took some time to enjoy it. I want to say thank you for all of those of you that tuned in on yesterday and caught the rebroadcast of an old episode that we did from season 3. I thought that would be a good topic to talk about since this season we're talking all about families and rebuilding and restoring families. So if you haven't had a chance, you can go ahead and check out the replay from yesterday. Well, you know, we're at the beginning of season 4 where our theme is we're all in this together. You and your family, you and your team at work, your organization, your church family, your community, whatever team you're a part of. We're talking about it from the perspective of being one, being walking together, having togetherness. And so that's what we're talking about this season. Today I want to talk to you about, we're going to start a new series this week. We're going to be talking about dysfunctional homes and functional homes. You know, if you're going to be all in this together, we have to kind of take a look at what the issues are in our family or in our organization or whatever we're a part of. We can't just continue to sweep those issues under the rug and then say, yay, we're all in this together. Like, let's have one big happy parade. Because eventually, you know, when you keep sweeping things under the rug, the pile is going to get bigger and then it's going to be some slipping and some falling going on. So if you're going to have togetherness with your team or your family, you have to deal with the issues. And so I want to talk to you about that this week, from going from dysfunctional to functional. And so I want to start with one of the passages of scriptures from the Bible. Actually, I want to talk to you about Joseph. And, you know, for many of us, we know that Joseph is known as the king of dreams. You know, if you know the story of Joseph, you know that Joseph, you know, he had 2 brothers. I think it was about 3 brothers, actually. And, you know, the Bible talks about how their father really looked favorably on Joseph, you know, and just to kind of sum the story up for you. His brothers were jealous of him. You know, they were jealous of him. They tried to kill him. And, that's something about jealousy, you know, which is something that we have to watch out for in families sometimes, because jealousy can really, really destroy a family. But the Bible talks about how they were jealous of him because of how the father, you know, looked favorably on him. And so, if you know the story, they were out, you know, doing some things, and Joseph went out to check on them. You know, he wanted to make sure they were okay, you know, and it really seemed like Joseph was a pretty good man. You know, he was like, hey, you know, they've been out there a while. Let me go check, make sure that they're good. And instead of them receiving him in a way saying, oh, you know, well, our brother came out here to check on us, they took it the wrong way because they were already jealous and envious of him. And so, the story goes, you know, the father had given Joseph a special coat. They didn't like that. So they ended up taking his coat, and they tormented him. They mistreated him. You know, the Bible talks about how they put him in a hole, and then eventually came back and sold him off into slavery. They sold him off. And this story just really gets next to me because, you know, you're thinking, this is my family. That was Joseph's family that did him like that. And so I think that it's safe to say that their home was dysfunctional, because that's not how your home should be. Like, why was his brothers? I just have so many questions reading that, you know, why were his brothers so jealous? Like, why did the father did he not treat them all the same? You know, like, what was the root of the issue that was going on there for you to take your brother your brother and, first of all, mistreat him, torment him, and then you sold him off. And it's a very powerful story if you follow that story. Of course, Joseph's outcome was a lot different because in the end, they ended up needing Joseph. Joseph ended up coming to the rescue for them. But just to think about the mindset that Joseph may have had, being sold by his family, I can imagine him feeling very broken, very hurt, betrayed, and maybe that's you. Maybe you're feeling like that. Maybe this story sounds parallel to something that has happened in your family. And so I know how hurtful that can be. Nobody wants to be betrayed. Nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to be sabotaged, especially by your own family. But the thing about Joseph and the thing about God is that even in the midst of him going through that, God's plan for his life never changed. Joseph ended up being the king. They ended up coming and needing him. He ended up being the one to really look out for them. And it's a very, I don't really have a whole lot of time to go through the whole passage with you, but I just love how the fact that even when they thought that they were hurting him and betraying him, they really served as a catalyst to get him in the right position where God can get him where he needed to be. And so I want you to think about that. Maybe you again have been betrayed by a family member and you've been having a hard time getting over that. Well, I want you to think back on that situation and look at where you are now, and ask yourself, even though they did that to you, are you in a better place today? I know our journey sometimes has some darkness on there, but where are you today? Are you still hurting from that situation? Did what they do to you cause you to have to move around and maybe move to another city, move to another state? And if that's you and you had to do that, how was your life today? See, sometimes when people think that they're hurting us, they're really just helping to push us where we're supposed to be. And I know, even though at the time, even with Joseph, I know that betrayal was hard for him. Even when it came down to the fact that he had to be the one to look out for his family because the famine came and, his family ended up coming to where he was, didn't even know that he was the king. It was so many years that passed and he saw them and immediately, he had a choice to make. He could have easily said, well, you know what? Y'all sold me, into slavery. I'm not feeding y'all. Y'all showing up here for food. But I'm grateful that Joseph made the right decision. And I know I'm kind of taking the story a little fast because I really kind of want you to go read the story. I want you to go read the story and you can find out everything, all the ins and outs of it, because I'm paraphrasing a lot. But the point is, when they thought they were hurting him, all they did was push him into the greatness. That hurt and that betrayal was able to turn around. God was able to use all of that to get him where he was supposed to be. And when the story starts off about Joseph, he ended up having a dream about being in that place. He dreamed of, I would be here and you all would have to bow down to me or whatever. And they were like, so now we gonna serve you. And I think that just made them, even more mad. They already didn't really like him. And then you're gonna come and say, you see people bowing down to you. And so Joseph never probably imagined that his journey would go like it did. When he saw that vision of, okay, for some reason I see people bowing down to me, he never thought that he would have to go through the betrayal to get there. And, and again, just think about this in regards to your life. What have you gone through that you didn't expect to go through, but you made it out on the other side because of a family member that hurt you? And we're still talking about dysfunction and functional, because it was a dysfunctional family. And that's what's going on in some of our homes, like the betrayal, the jealousy, the lies, the deceit, messy, those things are not good. Those things are causing our family to not function the way that it should. And the thing is, we can't go back and change the past, but we can learn from the past. I'm glad that one thing about it is that even though Joseph had a good heart by him going out there to check on them out there, when they came to him, he still had that good heart to say, I'm going to look out for them still. Again, he could have made a different decision. He could have said, you know what, y'all can starve for all I care. I don't care what y'all eat. I don't care if y'all ever eat again for what y'all did to me. But it took, I want to say that it took a lot of guts for him to do that, maybe it's what I want to say. It took a lot of courage for him to be able to say, I forgive you. And so, because of that, I believe that their home, their family unit went from dysfunction back to functioning the way that it was supposed to. Because that was dysfunctional for them to sell him and do what they did to him. But in the end, when they came back and they needed him, Joseph was able to forgive. He was able to, get over it. And I believe that restored their family. I believe that caused their family to go from dysfunctional to being functional. So I know we kind of said a lot today. It may have seemed like the story was all over the place, because I really want you to get that, because betrayal is not easy. It's not easy to always forget and forgive what your family member has done and still show up at the Thanksgiving table and face them. Still have them to come to you with the need and say, I need money. Excuse me. I need money. My lights are about to get turned off. And it's like, your mind is like, now, should I help you or do I stay with this betrayal? Because, you was the one that put that knife in my back. And it's always best to God wants us to love each other and to forgive. Remember that the enemy's purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, I'm not telling you by any means to lie down and be a doormat, because I do believe that forgiveness and healing has to take place a lot of times for us to be able to do that, But thank God that Joseph went through his healing and that he was able to say, you know what, my brothers need me. That was really big of him. And that just shows, again, the type of heart that he had for God and that he really had for his family, because most of us really love our family. We don't want to tell our family members no. We don't want to not hang with them or not be able to fellowship. Most of us, hopefully, should love our family. But sometimes there's just some dysfunction that's going on that has to be dealt with so that we can function. It's so much power in unity. And when we're all functioning together and all walking together, we can accomplish so many things. Joseph was really able to help his family, and they never had to go through any shortage again. He was able to take them and let them live in the best place. If it wasn't for Joseph, they would have still been stuck where they were, starving, with nothing to eat, sick, and probably nowhere to really live, no cattle, nothing. So if Joseph had made a different decision to say, no, I am not going to forgive you, then their lives would have been doomed. And so it's always just best to focus on the bigger picture. A lot of times when I read that story about Joseph, and the Bible talks about how he recognized his brothers, because this was years had passed after they sold him, years. And, after he recognized that those were his brothers, the Bible just talks about how he just cried. How he cried, and it makes me get so emotional, because I know that was hard for him. I know that in that moment, I can imagine his flesh saying, no, don't help them. These were the ones that sold you. These were the ones that stole your coat. They separated you from your father. And we have to learn how to make peace with the past and move on so that the dysfunction give people room to grow. We don't know how that felt for his brothers to see his dad to favor him. We don't know how they felt. A lot of times we just focus on Joseph, but how did they feel? Did the brothers really feel like, well, he doesn't love us? Envy will cause people to do things that they normally wouldn't really do. But just the fact of, you're not going to mistreat me, I'm not going to be ignored. That's envy. Well, we're going to wrap it up right here. This is going to be a great week. We're going to talk more about dysfunctional and dysfunctional. We're going to just dig more into it because I want your families to be restored. God wants your families to be restored. It's time to be restored. People are dropping like flies. We have to make peace with the past. Make peace with it and forgive, and forgive again. Hey, they did it. You survived it. Hopefully you're in a better place and you're not still dragging that baggage from season to season. And hopefully you took what they did to you and just went and just made a better life for yourself. So, but we're going to cut it right here today. We're at our time. So it's going to be a great week. I want to encourage you to tune back in with us every day. We'll be here, and follow us on social media, Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube at Morning Coffee Live Show. And let somebody know that we're on. Share this message with somebody that you know needs it. We all need this message. So be sure to like it and share it for me. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great, amazing day.